Hello and welcome to this stream, which I believe is live. Okay, just checking. Yes, it is to be. This is Phantom Fox 518, and as you can tell from the title, if that worked, I'm going to be doing some armadillo hunting and such things, as well as talking about Airventure 2026. You might ask how those two things are related and why you would possibly want to watch Minecraft armadillo hunting and hear about Airventure 2026. Well, the answer is that was some good timing. Thanks, guys. The answer is you probably wouldn't, but I'm working on this and trying to find some armadillos and help out with this project here. And I'm very probably going to get very bored if I'm not doing something else at the same time. Ooh, look what we got here. It is. That's not an armadillo. Never mind. Why did it? Oh. I thought the pig just meowed at me. Anywho. Let's see. So, this is Sovereign's Season 3. If you've watched anything on my channel, well, it's pretty obvious you probably have not watched anything on my channel. So I'll just, say that Sovereign's is a SMP that I do with several other people, including Legend underscore YT2027 and several other people. You can say that a number of them are online currently. Okay. So this is not my area. My area is all the way over here. I'll be doing some streams, maybe also some videos, kind of showing my area because I'm actually kind of getting that together and kind of liking where it's coming. Not super impressive or anything. I kind of like it. But what I'm doing right now is I'm helping Legend to hopefully find some armadillos and bring them to the armadillo the armadillo luxury resort and hotel that we have. Whoa! Oh! And Legend is here. Oh no. Crap. So I'm gonna... Frick. Okay. So I haven't gotten to the aviation part. The reason I was going to mention aviation is because I'm obsessed with aviation. And so I'm currently looking on Flight Radar 24 to see where those aircraft are. Dang it. I don't see them in the... So this is not... Weird. I don't see anything in the air right now. So, fair warning, if, okay, I'm about to get to the reason for this, but if, okay, okay, sorry. If airplanes do indeed fly over, I will probably just run outside and watch them. So, here's the reason I'm. This makes me nervous. I feel generally these situations lead to a lot of judging, and that gives me anxiety. So, I'm trying to go to a spot where I'm not being watched doing this. Dang, I missed the place. Anywho, the reason I'm bringing up airplanes were brought up. So the reason I am quite obsessed with aircraft, love aircraft, went to Airventure 2026, and I'm going to be talking about that in this stream. Reason being, because my attention span for looking at a computer screen is really low, and I've already been on my aircraft for several hours, which is really hard for me. But I'm trying. I figure A, people might want to hear about Airventure. B, more likely know the stream, but I like to talk about Airventure. And generally in this group of people, I have a different group of people who we're all on the same page on that kind of thing. And this group of people, not too many people want to hear about it. So I'll just talk about it here since I can pretend somebody's listening. So anyways, I would feel better if I find one... feel better if I find one singular Armadillo. Anywho, so for everybody who does not know what Airventure 2026 is, and let's be honest, if you clicked on this video or if you somehow came across this video, it was probably because of that in the title. You also probably did not make it this far, and I don't blame you one bit. But just assuming for some reason there's somebody who's really into Sovereign's content, there isn't, by the way, and is watching this, Airventure 2026 is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and for 1 week it becomes the busiest airport in the world. EAA stands for Experimental Aircraft Association. So, of course, there's experimental aircraft. There's also, there's fighters, there's other military aircraft, there's tons of general aviation, big warbird section. Didn't really want to be getting dark out. Vintage aircraft, that was a big thing this year. And also, it's America 250, the 250th anniversary of our country, if you're in the United States. I'm going to go sleep. Probably get chopped out a skeleton on the way, most likely. Anywho, so big thing, it's a huge thing. So it takes place at Whitman Airport in Oshkosh. It's a regional airport. It's right by the EAA Museum there, which is actually a fantastic museum. I've only been to EAA one time prior to this, but I was in the Civil Air Patrol when I was younger, and we used to the museum for several different activities. Fantastic place. If you like aircraft. And as has probably been established, so that fits. Where did I put my bed? I'm very confused. I don't know where that is. Didn't I just come from here? Why does it look different? What is happening? Is this not? See, the confusing thing is... Oh, is it on that side of the wall? I think it was closer to that wall. I am not great with directions. And my power of concentration has thoroughly depleted. But I'm trying. I am failing though. Where the frick is anything? Anything at all? Is it on that side of it? Maybe it was. I think it was. Is there... okay. Anywho, this is failing miserably, but where even is the armadillo thing? See, the thing is, I could simply ask, and that would be fine in most cases. But, see, most people I know, very used to it. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Everybody knows navigation is my weakness. They laugh and they tell me. However, in this particular group, I would just be ridiculed and it will probably be a thing. So I'm trying not to ask. However, also I have no freaking clue. How? Is it up here? See, there was a freaking... Okay. Wait, is it up here? Okay, hold on. Okay. Let's get away from the monsters there. Okay, I think... maybe it was pretty much somewhere right along here. Like, that's what I thought, right? So, like... anywho. Oh! Oh, dear. Well. Oh, yeah, it was up here. Okay. Yeah, then my bad was right there. Yeah. Okay. So it's up here is that area. That's right, because went across another river. Anywho, we'll pretend none of that happened. So back to airplanes. So normally Oshkosh is not a big place. So that Whitman Regional Airport is not a huge place. There's the EAA museum there, which is a great museum, amazing museum. But the airport is generally not huge. But for that 1 week, the control tower there at Whitman becomes the busiest control tower in the world. It actually handles like more than 10,000 aircraft arrivals and departures. So it's actually exceeds the weekly volume of places like O'Hare or, LaGuardia, Heathrow. It actually exceeds those, which is pretty crazy for a, not super big place in kind of middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. I wonder if I'm actually gonna see any airports. Come on, where's the airports? The Armadillos. So yeah, so it's pretty intense. And going to Airventure is like anybody who's into, dang, there's a lot of creepers. Anybody who's into, where are these armadillos? Like, wow. Sends me armadillo hunting and then leaves. I guess maybe I'll try going up there more. Anybody who's into, I'll probably reload for some reason. Anybody who's into aviation, just it's amazing, And in fact, it has. So without getting into too much detail, it's not an armadillo, right? So that is an armadillo, isn't it? Armadillo? I think it's an armadillo. That's a pig, isn't it? Hold on. Yeah, it was a pig. For the record, yes, that looks like a pig, and I thought that was a pig, but I was starting to question my sanity. Also, for the record, I am still questioning my sanity. Any shoes. So, yeah, but it's absolutely amazing because they had so many aircraft. They had a C5 there. They had the NASA Guppy was there at some points. They had, of course, all major fighters: F-18, F-16, F-15. Oops. Um, they had LC-130, which is really interesting. It's from somewhere on the East Coast. I was getting into that. Used for like Arctic or like Antarctic scientific missions. Um, so it has skis on it. Of course, still landing gear. It can still land on the runway. But yeah, super interesting. Um, um, yeah, but there was an SH-53 helicopter that was. Oh, and Apache. Let's see. A lot of warbirds too. P-51s, P-47s. So there was also like there was a B-24 and there was a B-52, which is more current. It's a very current nuclear capable bomber, but also the B-29, one of only two still flying. There's also a PB-4Y2 privateer. So it comes from the Commemorative Air Force, which is it's an organization that preserves and flies, historic, like generally like World War II aircraft and stuff. That PB4Y2 is definitely something you would not often see, though. I mean, not that you really often see any of those, but B29, like I mentioned, there's only two in existence, and if you got just $450, you can even ride on it. I unfortunately do not have $450. But the PB4Y2, if you're not as familiar with that, I found an armadillo. Heck yeah. No. Oh no, you don't. I'm busy. Go away. Nitty. It was a maritime patrol variant of the P-42. Yeah, the P-24. So there's the B-24 as a bomber, and then the PB-4Y2 was used by the Navy and of course later by the Coast Guard, and did aerial firefighting stuff. Very, very, very interesting to see though. They also had the Flying Bulls. It's a group from Australia, and they had they brought like a DC-3. I'm sorry, DC-6, and a P-38. I may have just said Australia. I meant Austria, if I did say that. I'm multitasking a lot. You can't get over here, right? Kira, you can do it. Okay. Wait, can he get in a boat? Let's see if he can get in a boat. I'd like him to get in a boat. Come on. Come on, my friend, get in a boat. Let's see, I'm gonna... Funny thing, just realized I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, my friend. try to push one. Let's see. But I can get through here, right? No, I can't get through here though, Dave. I prefer bow shovel. Anyways, but yeah, it's really cool. Seeing those, and the P-38s are like there's I think less than like 10 P-38s that still are flying. So there were a couple P-38s there. The Flying Bulls had one, and then there were a couple other ones on Warbird Alley. Warbird Alley is like where all the warbirds are. As it may not be too surprising. So seeing those there, amazing, really really cool. I did mention that Doc was there, the B-25. There's a lot of other heavy transports and bombers. They did have a B-17, which was amazing, and a B-27. Oh, what now? A B-25. Yes. In case anybody's wondering where the B-27s are, they are in Oshkosh. But yeah, they I'm trying to remember. I think Sentimental Journey was the B-17 that was there. There's not many of those still. And, they had flights too. Obviously, you would need to be better financially equipped than I to take them. But they existed, which is awesome. And then there were a lot of like newer restorations, not newer aircraft, warbirds, but newer restorations that had that were included up in Warbird Alley. There are some P-51s. There's a P-40 Warhawk. And then the, where is it? The American Heritage Museum had a PBY-5A Catalina. And to see that thing flying was incredible. Oh, it's over here, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, that was just absolutely amazing. There it is. That's what we wanted. Come on, get in. Come on. No. I need you right along. No, bro. Broski. There we go. No, come on. What are you doing? Really doesn't want to get in there, does he? There we go. Oh no. Oh no. No. Okay. Come on, bro. Come on, broski. Just get in there. Alright. Then you gotta give me that. Okay. Issue being, how the heck do I get that lead back? These leads are just gone forever once they get in there. I just kind of lightly tap them once, like. Okay, oh wait, I think I would just walk away. This is not something I do much, if you can tell. And they're gone already. Okay, well there's good news and there's bad news. Sheesh, that was way more difficult than it should have been, but we got one. Okay, this is gonna be a long stream. I'm just kidding, it's really not. I'm just getting as far as I can before I totally run out of steam to stream. Anyway, so there are some absolutely amazing things in the air show as well. Um, like they were just like, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to think. Think more up here. Let's see. I think this is like pretty much the area up here that you know we were doing. I think it's pretty much up here. Yeah, that's pretty much up there. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna up that way. So get my boat again, which is right here. Yeah, the boat thing works pretty well. You can go up there because I don't think we're gonna find any that are closer. So I'll just plan on get rid of that because that's annoying. Let's plan on going up there. Yeah, pretty much right to that shore there. One of the big highlights this year was the Red Arrows. That's the UK. That's the Royal Air Force kind of version of the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds. Um, I mean, they fly T1s. They're really cool to see in person. This is the first time they've ever performed at Oshkosh. I think so. They're on a tour right now, a North American tour, possibly just the U.S. I'm not positive. I think it may be the first time they've come over to like our country in the first place. So that was so cool to be able to see that. Um, and I'll tell you, they had a scheduled time of arrival. So they had a scheduled time of arrival on Wednesday. When it was supposed to be like kind of during the air show, they were going to arrive and not perform on Wednesday, but they were going to arrive. And due to something, they ended up getting a little bit behind, which they're coming from a long ways away, so whatever, it happens. Can't blame them. You know what? If I leave my boat right there, I'm just gonna lose my boat. I'm not with that. I am just bringing my boat with me. Did I already lose my boat? I think it's on the first one. But so they didn't get there till after the air show. So on Wednesday there were 2 air shows. Wednesday and Saturday they had an afternoon air show from like 2 to 6:30, and then a night show started at 8. So they got there between air shows. We were getting some food, and all of a sudden they just like scream overhead like in formation. It was a great entrance. I think like so if it was scheduled to happen at a certain point of the air show, and they would have announced it and everybody would have been ready and watching it, it would have been cool. Probably better for people that were trying to get a lot of photos and stuff. But I personally wasn't. In fact, I was specifically trying to take none. I failed, but I didn't. I was trying not to spend the experience looking through a screen, because it's not like Fails isn't taking 10 million pictures of videos of the whole thing, so it was kind of silly to, really take a lot of videos and stuff. But people that were trying to get videos and everything were probably like a little bit. I don't know, if I was trying to get video of that, I would have been a little like, oh, I missed the moment. They did come back and do another flyover, anyways, so it's like not like you could get them. But I thought it was fantastic because, like, with no warning, all of a sudden they scream overhead. Like, that was fantastic. And those jets are great. Paint scheme is really cool. I may be going in circles because I'm really just thinking about airplanes right now. What is that? I don't even know what that oops. Oh, this cave entrance. What? Oh, I don't even recall what cave that is. Interesting. Anyways, but that was, who wasn't where? Let me just go to my house and there. Oh. So yeah. The F-35, There's a... Oops. Yep, fell in a hole. Not like I was distracted or anything. That's why you don't drive and text. There's three variants of the F-35 Lightning II. So there's the A, B, and C. The F-35A is like the Air Force version. That it's the Air Force version. The F-35B is the Marine Corps version. It has short takeoff, vertical landing capability. And then there's the F-35C, which is the Navy version that can land on carriers. So they had a Marine Corps F-35B there, which I hadn't seen. I've seen the A. The larger city near where we are, they have a squadron of F-35As. So a lot of times they'll be down by the lake, and they'll be flying over, which I love. I mean, not that you see them take off and land, anyways, unless you happen to be at the airport there. But you see them fly over. But the F-35B was fantastic because it can hover, it can do like the slow flight stuff and all of that, and that is just fantastic to see. I have seen Aviate the Harrier doing such things in the past, but first time I've seen a F-35 doing that. It's interesting, actually. So don't want too much information. I was in a place. I'm just gonna say a place. A couple of months ago, and this place, where I am and where this place is pretty close to the local airport. And that is not the local airport. I'm a few hours away from there. But there's an F-35 from that other squadron that was doing maneuvers out in this city, which was unexpected, and suddenly they start flying over. It's pretty cool. There is nothing. These things are so hard to find. It's incredible. So in this entire amount of time, I've literally found, I think, 2. Is it 2? Maybe 1. I think 2. I'll say 2. Makes me feel better about life. And like, I was gonna see how I've been streaming. Honestly, I don't. Oh wait, I can still see. I've been streaming for over a half hour. I've literally found 1 or 2. Wowskies. But yeah. Anyways. Back to airplanes, I guess. Seriously. Oh. What's happening? Anyway. Nice. The F-22 was there. The F-22 Raptor. That is a fantastic, phenomenal aircraft. I'll tell you what, the F-22, some of the tight turns they do and everything, because the F-22 has thrust vectoring and does really high angle of attack climbs, and you can see the afterburner shooting out and everything. It's just fantastic. And they did both the afternoon and twilight show. That was fantastic. I can't tell. Maybe I'm going in a circle. Maybe I'm not seeing them because I'm going in a circle. You know what I mean? I know what I do. I need to just pick a direction and keep walking in it. Not this direction, because I walk in that direction. Yep. I'm not going to turn unless I see something. Or, avoid it. Wait. Was that? Did I just hear? I swear I heard one. What do we have here? Welcome to the team. Okay. Am I not, oops. There we go. Welcome to the team, as I said. Okay. Going the right way? Yes, indeed. Right. Okay. So as I was saying, um, uh, here's an interesting one. Oh no! Where'd you go? Dang it! The nerve. Well, at least I found the armadillo. Not sure I'm gonna find the lead again though, which is not super cool. Just putting that out there. Ooh, I need to eat. Especially since it's nighttime. Actually, I need to get out of here. Oh, somebody heard the call. Okay. Alright, anyways, let's get in the water. Come on. Very obnoxious. Very obnoxious. Alright. Okay. So, there were F5 Tigers there as well. So, there is. So, Jared Isaacson. He is the administrator of NASA, the head of NASA. He has this whole separate thing that he does. I'm trying to think. Draken, I think, is a company, but he has something called Ghost Squadron. And what he has is these aircraft. He has a personal Su-29. It's a Russian fighter jet. Really, really cool. He brought that. Very cool camo. Very good paint. And then he had an F5. And there were, I think, 3 other F5s. And they all had a really cool, like, commemorative America 250 paint scheme and everything. And they performed... so yeah, that was very cool. I should see where I'm going. Okay, just need to turn left a little. Wait, do I have that? Yeah, if I go towards kind of in between, and you go kind of in between those. Wow. Anywho. So, there were some really cool vintage. Well, there was some really cool vintage like aircraft too. So there's a the Wright brothers, obviously the people who first got in the air basically. They were flying the Wright B flyer, and there's a I'm sorry, a Wright flyer. It's really hard to multitask. Very difficult thing to do. Alright. No, don't get in the boat. Broski. Okay. So they had a replica of that though. And let me guess. Let me guess. That's what I thought. Okay. Sheesh. Okay. So they had just a whole lot of other things. They had uh, yeah, they had they were really focused. So there's a big focus on the like 1946 aircraft. Cessna, Piper, Erica, um, where they basically were taking a lot of what they've been doing for the war effort, and then they kind of just they turned it into general aviation aircraft. Um, yeah, there. So there was also a lot of Vans RV, like which are really great, like kit built aircraft, like really great aircraft. They had some ultralights and gyrocopters. Gyro. Did you say gyrocopters? Gyrocopters. I don't, I don't know where that came from. I guess I kind of got to listen for them. The armadillos, not the aircraft. Um, but yeah. So an interesting thing about EAA is not only so it's not cheap. For a member it costs. So the membership costs like 40 something dollars for a year. If you're a member, you can get tickets for like 50 something dollars, which you save money if you get more than one day. Because I don't recall with the non-member. We still went with it because we're planning to make it to the museum a couple times over the course of the year, and then you get free museum admission too. So, and a lot of other museums too, even though we don't usually get to that many. But heck, I haven't even been to. What did I set this for? Oh, is there still something down there? Okay. Oh, there is. I forgot about this. When I first came to this area. Yeah, I forgot about that. Anywho, and then it costs $20 for parking. Well, 19, but you get it. Dollars for parking. If you get it ahead, I think it's like $30 if you get it there, regardless if you're a member or not. So definitely want to do that ahead of time. But they also have, and this in the weekly passes, like I think 150 something dollars, I believe, for members, anyways. But they have an actual like campground there, like right, basically attached to the airport. And that was close. It accommodates like 40,000 people, and so our plan is hopefully to save up enough money to actually just stay there for the week next week. Next week, yes, that would be fantastic. But I meant next year. It seems like a good place to see if there's any of them around. Very expensive though. Don't actually know if it'll work out, but I pretty much have to spend nothing for the next year. But it's worth it. And then so when you go there, the biggest thing right when you walk in on the grounds, it's called Boeing Plaza, and that's where they have all the kind of the headliner, big aircrafts, like the C5 and the C-130 and stuff, as well as like they'll park like the F-35 there, the F-22 there, the F-16s, F-15, F-18, all that stuff. Number of helicopters as well. Yeah. And then there's and then there's also a seaplane base. I've never made it out there because it's a whole separate thing that's not directly attached. And you need to take a tram. There's a there's a bit of a waiting aspect, and it costs not much, like $5 or something, but more the time aspect. Like it'd be very cool to see, but it's not. If I'm there for a whole week though, heck yeah. But yeah, some interesting things about it. Like I mentioned, for a week, it is the world's busiest tower. There's actually over 10,000 aircraft that fly into Whitman, airport, and also surrounding airports, specifically for this. What is that? No clue what that is. So I guess want to go. I do vaguely remember being here when I put those in. Over the period of that week, there's about 16,000 takeoffs and landings. Is that one? Oh, no, that's just a side of the thing. Am I even? Is it right there? I gotta go norther. I guarantee you that is where. You know what? No, I have to go backer because I have to sleep her. And while the airport is open, they do like somewhere around I think 108 like takeoffs and landings an hour, which is really crazy, especially for small. And I believe my understanding is what actually happens is they select like the best air traffic controllers around the country to go there for that week for this. So I mean, it's not but they even have this dot system, so it's one of the only places in the world where they will line up 3 airplanes at the exact same time on a single runway, and direct them to like these dots. There's pink, orange, and green dots, and so I mean that's something they'll do anywhere else. There's over 700,000 visitors from 90 countries, I think, or something like that. Maybe more than 90 countries. There's 100 aircraft that are being shown there. There are. Whoops! There is a squid. There's like 6,000 something. I think closer to 6,500 operatives. Volunteer. What the frick was that? Volunteers. Operatives. And it brings in like over $250 million for like that region of Wisconsin. One thing. Ooh, that was close. So I want to go here. No, north. Well, I guess I'll back. Might as well check it. They also had a number of F-16s. And a few F-16s, different paint schemes and things. I personally have a definite love for F-16s. It's no longer the best jet. It's it's not the most capable. It certainly doesn't go the fastest or have the most maneuverability. But it's just a really all-around great jet. It really is. It's a fantastic jet, and it's iconic. I mean, of course, you had the F-14, which is no longer out there. Actually, I think some countries still use them. I wish we still had some flying. To my knowledge, there aren't though. But yeah, it's pretty great. One big thing I thought was really cool was the Flying Bulls, the team that I mentioned from Austria. They brought the P-38 and the DC-6. It's very cool because I even got a hat from them because You literally can't, like, I'll never see them again. Yeah, they're from Austria. They don't normally come here. They don't sell their stuff online. So it's a cool. And well, so the funny thing, I wasn't necessarily planning on getting merchandise because I don't play that kind of money, generally speaking. Um, but it was really hot out. It was really sunny, and like I can only get back so often for sunscreen, because like distance. I want to spend my whole time just walking back and forth to my car to put on sunscreen every 2 hours. So, like, okay, well, I'll just do the best I can. But it was like getting out the air show time, and the sun was right up there. And it's like, okay, I should have brought a hat, and I normally would, but I just didn't think of it. And I was in like the Boeing shop. They had a couple, and I was about to pick. I picked one up. I was like, it was a cool hat, like the Boeing and stuff. And, I don't remember if it was one of the. I don't remember if I was going to get one of the ones with like the Boeing logo or they had some specifically the 787 Dreamliner. Love that aircraft. But either way, the line was so long. It's like, okay, I'm not going to spend the entire air show waiting. But the flag bowls were inside, right under the DC-6. They had a little merch shop set up, and it's like, hey, you know what? I could probably find a Boeing hat at a different time. I don't think I'll find this at a different time, and I need a hat. So I got a hat. That being said, it was like really expensive, but like again, won't see it again. And again, needed a hat. That's how I justified it. I needed one. But then I wore it, and it was really, really hot outside, and so it's like a little bit darker in the front of the rim, which drives me nuts. Absolutely killed it. But the flying bulls were awesome though. They did some flying with the DC-6 at Equal 38. Can I say? Was that a? It's probably just his cow, I guess. Hey. Oh, looky what we have there. In a moment. Look what we have here. Yeah, don't be scared. You're fine. It's not going to work fast. Yeah, so they did. Oops. I'll do this in a way that doesn't backfire. So they had some flybys of like the heavy bombers and patrol formations and stuff. They had the B-29. That like I mentioned, the PB-4Y2 and the PBY-5A Catalina. They had the B-17 and B-25 flying in like, oops. Oh yeah, no, this is what I want to do. In like coordinated tactical streams. Like it was really, really cool. They had a team called the Jack Aces. They were flying P-51s. They had 3. They were doing really. It was just awesome watching those fly. And then they also had the World War II Airborne Demonstration Team, and they jumped out of a C-47 Skytrain, and they had even the round parachutes. You normally don't see those because you really, you kind of just land wherever you land, so it's not really something that people use nowadays. But the, period-specific gear that they were using and everything. And then some of the performers they have were absolutely incredible. Now, I'm a jet person. And like the large aircraft, the military aircraft, actually, warbirds, modern stuff, that's what I'm really into. But they had some amazing things. One of the absolute coolest things. So I don't know. So if you've ever heard of Bob Hoover, he was an amazing air. Did I go the wrong way? Oh no. Oh, well, a little bit, but not too far. He was an amazing. See, I'm thinking about airplanes. He was an amazing aerobatic performer, and instead of flying like a 300S or 330S or something like that, do I need to go right more? Yes, I do. He flew a Aero Commander, which is a two engine, like like it looks just like a normal general aviation aircraft. So it's very interesting because it does not look like it should be doing aerobatics of any kind. You know, see that thing going over. To see that thing going over and you know, doing loops and rolls and stuff is amazing. But so he wasn't there because you know, he died several years ago, unfortunately. But the person, so there's a man named David Martin, and so he was basically doing pretty much, I think, the same show that Bob Hoover did. I did see Bob Hoover when I went to the EAA as a kid. You know, so it was pretty amazing. I don't recall every single detail of. I don't remember like, oh, it was the exact same show, but I do remember seeing it. And the reason I remember seeing it, well, I mean, I remember the whole thing very vividly because I'm obsessed with aircraft. But the reason I remember specifically seeing that part of it was because of. Well, I'll tell you, it was because he would actually shut the engines off mid-flight, and he would shut the engines off. He went down and did an entire roll, or excuse me, an entire loop with no engines. And like first of all, like during the majority of, so I'll talk about David Martin's act. I think this all, I think he, I think I think pretty much the entire thing was Bob Hoover's act. I think he was doing pretty much the exact same act though, and that's how they, you know, announced it. And that's like, I think it was even called the Bob Hoover tribute act. But he shut the engines off. Like, and this does not look like an air show aircraft, right? It's a twin engine Aero Commander, but he shuts the engines off. Like, first of all, like a lot of it, you know, he did have the engines on. Dang it, I should have slept. But and they had fantastic, just the most phenomenal like music playing during that, because it was like much more of a like a ballet in the sky than it, like, you know, the you know, the hardcore, you know, music that often is in, which are fantastic, don't get me wrong, which is for this specific act. It was really good. I am going to sleep. But then when he did that, they shut the music off, and you could the aircraft, like, you could hear it going through the air, like very very loudly, even though it didn't have any engines. And then he actually, the way he ended the show, and this is what Bob Hoover did. He was coming around. He shut the engine, or well, at one point he shut one of the engines off, and he did a roll into that engine, which normally you can't, you shouldn't even attempt that. If like you lose an engine, don't turn into that engine. But you know, he had enough speed and stuff that he was able to do it. Obviously, also it was completely intentional, and he practiced it. Who knows how many times? But the way that he ended that show, with the engines off, like he wasn't even lined up at the runway. He was going the other way and then he turned the engines off, turned around, lined up at the runway, landed, and then taxied to his parking spot, the exact same spot he had left from, without ever turning the engines back on. Like, it's just so striking, like, that he was able to do that. It's just one of the most phenomenal, like, things, you know. But there's a Skip Stewart was there. He flies Prometheus. I think it's Prometheus 2 now, actually. I need to, yeah, we're up that way. I'm gonna go about that hour. There's always this northern one. He does great. Jared Lindemann is a biplane pilot. He did fantastic. Trying to think. Yeah, right here. Right here. And then, oh, Matt Youngkin. He's playing a Twin Beach 18. Oh, hello. Which is a really, really large, like, sucker. You know what? Real quick. Just real quick. Because I need some of this, and I keep forgetting to come here. But he is a big, like, 1940s twin engine transport plane is what he was flying. And in that aircraft, he was, yeah, it's gonna be harder. You know what? No, it's not. Oops. I think I could just do this. Oh, maybe I can't though. That's not working. Ah, screw it. Not worth it. Not worth it. But yeah, he seeing that, I like that because, like, you know, the extra 330S is amazing, right? Oh, you know, like there's other biplane stuff that are like really, really cool to watch, but just the ones that you wouldn't expect to see doing stuff like that, you know. So there was somebody named I heard you. I think unless it was a could have been that. Yeah, probably the chicken one. There's somebody named Vicky Bensing, and she had a P-51 called Plum Crazy. It was painted purple, so that was fun to watch. I can't remember his name. There was somebody doing some pretty cool stuff in a Beechcraft Bonanza, you know. Oh, and then a couple other things. Let me try up here to see it. So, I thought maybe if I go up here, just see it faster. So, I don't think so. So there was this mini jet. A single seat personal jet. I don't honestly know much about this. From what the announcer was saying, it like the previous one, I think, had been crash landed or something, and so he had, like, in a period of 3 weeks, had acquired the one he was flying, and you know, got used to it enough to perform with it. I believe, if I have that correct. And so it wasn't even kitted like with the lights and stuff that they were hoping, but it was amazing. It was actually kind of cool. That it was just like this gray, like, I mean, it was really cool. Oh, and then there's this jet sailplane. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was a sailplane with jets, you know, as it might sound like. But that was really cool because, like, very odd to see. And, the Golden Knights jumps, you know, that, and there's another team. I don't recall what the other team is. The Golden Knights are the Army's parachute team, and it's always interesting. You know, things like that are always interesting because you know, you get to talk to a lot of the pilots and stuff like that. And also, I was talking to one of the Golden Knights, and he said they do over 300 jumps a year, which that number just blew my mind. Like, that is crazy. So, like, you know, good on them. Yeah, but amazing air show. So that was the afternoon air show, but then the night air shows. Holy crap! Um, they had fireworks everywhere. They had like laser beam, like lasers like to the music. They had great music. They had tons of pyrotechnics on the runway. They had a really cool drone show. First time I've ever actually seen one, to be honest. Like an actual like full scale, real like impressive drone show. I just say drone, I think drone show. Um, I mean, it was honestly the best presentation I've ever seen, better than any fireworks thing. I mean, heck, they had some of the aircraft that were flying over like with really cool like lighting designs and just like shooting, you know, fireworks off their plane basically. I think the mini jet was flying at night two. It's amazing, most phenomenal thing ever. Um, there are a couple things that some people see as drawbacks. One, yes, it's expensive, but I mean, it can't not be expensive. Like I don't make a lot of money. It would be great if everything was free. I love that. I cannot blame them for charging money for this. It's and I can't even like the amount of money like to camp there and stuff. It would be for me anyways an insane amount of money. But I can't say that it's unfair. Like the ticket prices and stuff too. Even parking. I mean, $20 for parking is a lot actually. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You know. And I mean, they got like 6,000 volunteers and stuff. Like, and those people. I mean, they're working for free, but I assume they gotta pay them. They got a very complicated like tram and shuttle system. It's gotta cost money. Different and security. I'm pretty sure they pay everybody for coming. All the performers and everything. Um, and I mean, like, just the red arrows, for example. It's not just red arrows flying over, which is crazy enough. And those aircraft are not. Um, there's none anywhere. Those aircraft are not made for international, transatlantic flights, and they have to. I heard the way they do it. They up in like Greenland and like Canada and several places before they, between the UK and the US. But like, talking about fuel, and they have another aircraft which I forgot the name of. It flew over though, very cool. Um, that. Oh, there's a Boeing C-47. There's a C-40 Clipper as well. That's really cool. Those are aircraft that transport like politicians, like you know. I believe the vice president flies on one of those usually. I think. Could be wrong about that. That could be bad info. Don't quote me, unless I'm right. In which case, feel free to quote me. Um, but yeah, the point I was trying to make though is the yeah. I'm wondering if people should probably stop streaming at some point. I'm just looking real quick to see if everybody else is back on voice chat, in which case I probably will. They're not though. Let's see, do we have groups in here? Oh, yeah, they are. Okay. Yeah, so I probably will get up pretty soon. But yeah, they have like 140 people that go with them. It's crazy numbers. Crazy numbers. Yeah. So yeah, people, the price is one drawback. It's legit. It's a lot of money, like to camp there for a week. Everything, take into account fuel and food, which of course is expensive. Event prices, good food though, but very expensive. Um, but honestly, it'll cost around. well, a little under though, like close to like $1,800 or something, honestly. Which, in a way, is not a ridiculous amount of money for what it is, but for my bank account, it's a ridiculous amount of money. So so. One thing I did see, like a lot of people mind talking about, like the announcers, like tons of people, like, oh, I wish the announcer would have stopped talking and stuff. I respectfully disagree. Like honestly, I thought the announcers. I mean, some of the acts had their own announcers, but also the Mason. I thought he was a really good. He just did good, and I thought most of like what they were saying was actually super interesting. Like, I mean, it's not like you can't hear the aircraft when they come over. Yes, it's cool to just hear the engine stuff, but you hear that all day. They're up all of these aircraft, like from the jets, the warbirds, like they're all up there flying all day. Like the announcer was actually giving really interesting information. One last thing before I get off. So I mentioned David Martin, who's flying the Bob Hoover tribute flight, the Aero Commander. Bob Hoover, if you don't know who he is, you should look him up. He's crazy. In a good way, obviously. Sorry. Whoa. But yeah, he actually was a pilot in World War II. He was captured by the enemy, tried numerous times to escape and failed, then eventually succeeded, stole an enemy aircraft, and flew back to, back to the Allies with the enemy aircraft. Like what? He has a book, something like Forever. I haven't been able to read it, unfortunately. Something like Forever Flying or something like that. I don't think that's quite right, but just like Bob Hoover, I think he's only got one book. There's probably only one Bob Hoover writing also, so shouldn't be too hard to find. Anyways, I think I'm going to end the stream there. It's been, just checking here, over an hour. So yeah, I'm going to call it there. I think we got like, I don't know, let's say like 6 armadillos, something like that. I could be wrong. I might probably be wrong, but I'm going to say 6 armadillos. Yeah, so hopefully do more streams. Do more videos too. The thing with the videos is they take more editing. Well, they take editing, period. And I don't get a lot. Well, it's not super worth it. I did one last year that was, I'm kind of proud of the editing. It didn't matter a lot. So figure, hey, it's more entertaining just to come on live stream, not have to stress about the editing and stuff. It's already stressful enough. Getting time to get on and everything. Here's legend. So I'm gonna sign up for right there, and yeah, have a good day.